Hey, kia ora, Markie here. So a spontaneous video. Got the camera the way around because that's the best way to hold it when you haven't got a stand, and it might be a bit shaky, or my arm might get tired, so I might go up and down. I'll show you a bit of the view there. Look, there's a bit of sea view behind me. Some people are going to be walking behind me as well in a moment, so I'll go back down so we don't kind of frame them in the camera because they might not want to be seen in the camera. So a quick one on retroactive jealousy, or as I like to call it in the Maori language, po raru raru. So in other words, literally the kind of worries that plague you at night. But of course RJ plagues you by day and by night, by dream and in wakeful states. RJ, retroactive jealousy, is completely treatable. I wish people would believe this, because so many people are kind of lacking in hope around this. It is completely treatable, but you have to work really hard. It's not something that somebody can just cure for you, although people can certainly help you and lead you in the right direction. You have to work a program. See my video called The Antidote on one of the first things to do with when you have retroactive jealousy, and also look at the golden rule. I don't think I've actually done a video on the golden rule, but the golden rule is stop asking your partner questions and stop seeking information, stop seeking reassurance, because it all perpetuates the cycle. But what I want to talk about today in my usual rambly fashion is when we talk about full recovery from retroactive jealousy, what does that look like? Okay, I think it's quite useful to have a vision of this. So it doesn't mean that you will suddenly become ultra comfortable with your partner's past. It doesn't mean that you'll suddenly want to know all about their partners and that will be safe to do so. It doesn't mean that you still won't be uncomfortable about things. The secret, or the sense of recovery from retroactive jealousy, what it looks like is, it's about intensity. It's about, you can still be triggered by things, you can still be uncomfortable about things, you can still not want to know about things, or maybe you want to know about things, but the degree to which that bothers you is much lower. So it becomes an uncomfortable thought, an uncomfortable reality, and then you start thinking about other things. You don't ruminate, you don't go off, you don't spiral out into long ruminative thought processes. Okay, which is much like how we deal with any other unpleasantness in life, because life is full of really disturbing and unpleasant things, and they're all around us. How many people do we know that have been sexually abused, sexually assaulted? If you stop and think about that, it's really take you down some dark avenues. So it's not about suddenly feeling great about all these things, or just being cool with things. It's about the degree. So it's about taking away the obsessive nature of it, because that's the disease. The disease is the obsessive part. Nobody really likes the idea of their partner's past. Nobody really relishes. Sometimes people are kind of curious and interested in a kind of a a non-emotive way, but generally speaking we don't like it very much. We particularly don't like to think of other people having sex with our partners, unless you go the other way, and that's the kind of turn on for you, which is for lots of people, but probably not for you if you have retroactive jealousy. So retroactive jealousy is not about never having the thoughts, it's about the nature and the quality of those thoughts, and basically it's like the power has been taken out of them, and the thoughts stop at that. You still will get kind of the odd thought. That's why it's important to keep applying the antidotes. I've been in recovery for a good long time. I still apply the antidote. I still use that. Sorry, because the thoughts come into my head. The difference is the thoughts come and go. Let's pan up to the clouds now, shall we? Because that's always the analogy that people use, is that thoughts should be like clouds that float across the sky. We don't chase them, we don't obsess about them, we don't try and make them stay. We kind of notice them and their ethereal quality, their very temporary quality, that they're here 1 minute, gone the next. They're just made of vapor. They come and go. That's really is what thoughts are. Retroactive jealousy is action replay. So that is the difference. Okay, so it doesn't mean, recovery doesn't mean that you'll kind of be totally cool and happy with all the stuff that you're obsessing about. You probably won't. But if you compare it to other forms of OCD, so OCD around safety, often people with OCD, they're fixated on, have I locked the door, have I left the house securely? Okay, well, if you cure your OCD, it doesn't mean you leave your doors open and your windows open when you go off to work because you think, I'm above such things now. It's important you still lock the doors and the windows and keep the house secure. Or if your OCD is about kitchen hygiene or hygiene in general, or contamination, or things like bacteria or whatever, you would still keep a tidy kitchen. You might still bleach down your worktop, but you wouldn't be bleaching down your worktop all the time, and you wouldn't be thinking about bleaching down your worktop when you're off at work or doing other things. That's the difference. Okay, so it's taking away the obsessive quality. It's taking away that degree of pain. It's taking away that physical anxiety response. Where you get massively triggered and your heart's beating and all those things. The butterflies in the belly. Shaking, all those horrible things that can come with retroactive jealousy, they go away. So the triggers will still be there. There'll be things that you don't like, but they will not affect you in the same way. And that is what I believe long-term full recovery in retroactive jealousy looks like. Okay, and that's the picture that we're to imagine, and it is completely possible. The only thing that will stop you from achieving recovery from retroactive jealousy is you. If you don't do the work, if you don't listen to the advice, if you don't do the exercises, if you don't take advantage of every possible resource that's out there, then you are getting in the way of your own recovery. Okay, so I know I'm talking tough. It doesn't mean I don't have compassion, because I think retroactive jealousy is one of the most horrible conditions going. I've got huge compassion for people with it, and that's why I kind of talk tough these days. I'm getting pretty tougher in my talk, and we're actually in the process of writing a book, which is going to be called. We wanted something alliterative, so it started at 10 tough talking tips for people who aren't recovering from retroactive jealousy, but I'm going to have to kind of change, because the number's gone up now, so it's probably going to be about 20 tough talking tips 20 tough talking, tongue twisting tips for people who aren't recovering. Okay, you can recover from retroactive jealousy, okay? Be under no illusion, if you do the right things and you get the right help, okay? Please don't think that you're stuck with this stuff. Please don't think that you have to leave your relationship. Leave your relationship if your relationship is shit. But if your relationship is good and it's just the RJ that's getting in the way, stay put and do the work. Rangimarie.